Some advice sounds empowering until you ask one tiny question. Who can actually afford to follow it? Because from the top of the mountain, success can look very simple. Work harder, be visible, get in the room, stop making excuses, lean in, show up, be ambitious. And honestly, some of that advice is not wrong. All those things matter. But here's where I start getting itchy. What happens when powerful women give advice from the top of the mountain, but forget how different the climb looks when you are carrying children, bills, aging parents, no family support, and no safety net? Because that is not the same journey. And when people pretend it is, the advice stops feeling empowering and starts feeling like one more impossible standard women are expected to live up to. Hello, hello! Welcome back to Smart AF, the show where we cut through the noise and give you the facts, straight up. And today we are talking about rich women, powerful women, successful women, and the kind of advice they give to other women. Now, before anyone starts typing with both thumbs and a full nervous system response, let me be very clear. This is not an episode about hating successful women. I like successful women. I want more women with money. I want more women with ownership. I want more women building companies, sitting on boards, making decisions, hiring people, changing industries, and walking into rooms where they used to be ignored. This is not jealousy. This is not, how dare she succeed? This is not, women should stay small. Absolutely not. This is about something much more interesting. It is about what happens when women who have made it start giving advice to women who are still trying to survive the climb. Because sometimes advice is not wrong because it is malicious. Sometimes advice is wrong because it is incomplete. And incomplete advice can be dangerous when it is packaged as universal truth. Take Emma Grede. I actually find her fascinating. She is sharp. She is charismatic. She is commercially very clever. She clearly understands brands, partnerships, retail, influence, product, and execution. This is not someone who did nothing and magically became successful. Emma Grede clearly has talent, discipline, commercial instinct, and work ethic. But her story also shows something we need to be honest about. Success is rarely just about effort. It is also about timing, proximity, networks, partnerships, and who you get access to along the way. And that does not make her success fake. It makes it real. Because most big success stories are not clean little fairy tales about one person grinding in isolation until an empire appears. They are usually a mix of skill, work, access, relationships, timing, capital, and opportunity. That is exactly why her advice is worth examining carefully. Because when people become successful, they often remember the effort very clearly. But the access can start to look invisible. And to be fair, Emma Grede has built things. She has operated businesses. She has worked with the Kardashians in a way that turned cultural attention into serious retail power. That takes skill. That takes strategy. That is not nothing. And some of her advice to women is honestly very good. When she talks about women being conditioned to be small, quiet, pleasing, and afraid to admit they want money or power, I think she is right. A lot of women are trained from childhood to be agreeable before they are ambitious, to be liked before they are respected, to be grateful before they are paid properly, to say sorry before they have even finished making a point. And when Emma Grede says women need to be honest about what is holding them back, and that ambition can feel uncomfortable, I think there is real value in that. That is the kind of advice I actually want more women to hear. Not because every woman needs to become a billionaire founder, but because women should not be embarrassed about wanting money, influence, security, or options. But then we get to the advice about work, visibility, proximity, and being in the office. And that is where it gets messy. Emma Grede has said that a great career requires visibility and proximity. Basically, if you are working from your living room, you are not being considered for the same promotion or pay rise as the person who is in the office every day. And look, I am not going to pretend visibility does not matter. It does. The workplace is not a fairy tale. People remember who they see. They build trust with the people they interact with. Opportunities often go to the person who feels present, available, and connected. But here's the part that gets left out. Visibility does not cost every woman the same. For one woman, being in the office every day might mean organizing childcare, getting in the car, and going to work while someone else keeps the rest of life running. For another woman, it means school drop-off, traffic, after-school care, a sick child, no nearby family, a partner also working full-time, dinner still needing to happen, laundry waiting at home, and the quiet fear that one unexpected problem will make the whole day collapse. Same advice, different cost. And that is the part successful people sometimes forget. Not because they are evil, not because they did not work hard, not because their success is fake, but because once you have enough support around you, it becomes very easy to forget how much support changes the equation. And that is when advice from powerful women can go from inspiring to out of touch. Kim Kardashian gave us the viral version of this when she told women in business to get up and work. And again, the problem was not that work does not matter. Of course work matters. Nobody is building anything meaningful by lying on the sofa eating pizza and waiting for the universe to send a Shopify notification. But hard work is not the only variable. When someone already has fame, money, staff, family infrastructure, managers, assistants, legal teams, brand recognition, and a global platform, just work harder does not land the same way. Because many women are already working. They are working at their jobs, they are working at home, they are raising children, caring for parents, managing bills, appointments, school messages, meals, routines, emotions, laundry, and everyone's tiny emergencies. And then, after all that, they are told they need to be more visible, be more ambitious, lean in harder, get up and work. Honestly, some women are already up. They have been up since 5 a.m. The problem is not laziness. The problem is that they are carrying too much. And this is why the Sheryl Sandberg lean in conversation still matters. Because lean in is not useless advice. Women should advocate for themselves. Women should ask for money. Women should speak in meetings. Women should not remove themselves from opportunities before anyone else even has the chance to consider them. That part is valuable. But what happens when leaning in requires a support system you do not have? What if being in the room means rearranging your whole family life? I think about this in my own life. My career matters, my ambitions matter. I am not sitting here saying women should give up on themselves the second family responsibilities appear. Absolutely not. But you also have to be realistic. If one person in the household is the higher earner, and that income is what pays the mortgage, you cannot just build your life around motivational advice from people who already have a financial cushion. The bank does not care about my ambition. The mortgage still has to be paid. The groceries still have to be bought. The kids still need stability. So if I were to take a full-time office job with no flexibility, it would not just affect me, it would affect my whole family. School pickups, sick days, childcare, dinner, routines, homework, my husband's full-time job. All of it would have to be reorganized around one employer's idea of what commitment looks like. And that is the part people often miss. For some women, flexibility is not a preference. It is the only reason work is possible. Confidence is not childcare. Mindset is not paid leave. Visibility is not flexibility. And ambition is not the same thing as infrastructure. You can tell women to lean in all day long, but if the floor underneath them is unstable, do not act shocked when they fall over. And then there is Marissa Mayer. When she was CEO of Yahoo, the company ended remote work and told employees they needed to be in the office. And I understand the argument. Sometimes teams do need connection. Sometimes workplaces become fragmented. Sometimes collaboration works better in person. But when powerful women defend or enforce rules that make flexibility harder, we need to ask one question. Who pays the price? Because usually, it is not the person with the most support. It is the person with the least. And this is where the conversation gets uncomfortable. Sometimes the women who break into the room become the strictest defenders of the rules that made the room hard to enter in the first place. Not always, but sometimes. And I think we need to be honest about that. Because there is a version of female success culture that quietly says, I suffered, so you should too. I sacrificed, so that is the price. I made it work, so you should make it work. I had to play the game, so stop complaining about the game. But maybe the better question is, why is the game still built this way? Why is physical presence still treated as proof of commitment? Why is motherhood still treated like a private inconvenience instead of a normal part of life? Why do we tell women to build careers and families, then design workplaces as if families are a scheduling problem? And why do powerful women of all people not say this louder? Because this is what I actually want from successful women. I do not want them to stop telling women to be ambitious. Tell women to want money. Tell women to build. Tell women to stop shrinking. Tell women to take up space. Tell women to stop waiting for permission. Yes, please, more of that. But also tell the truth. Tell women that ambition is easier with support. Tell women that childcare is infrastructure. Tell women that flexibility can be a career-saving tool, not a weakness. Tell women that having no safety net changes the strategy. Tell women that sometimes the most ambitious thing you can do is not burn out trying to prove yourself to people who already have more support than you. Because that is the practical advice women need. Not just be in the room, fine. But what if being in the room means the whole family routine collapses? Not just work harder. Many women are already working from the second they wake up. They are just not always doing the kind of work that gets applause, promotions, or LinkedIn posts. Not just lean in. Lean into what? A workplace that still acts surprised when women have children, parents, bills, school pickups, and actual lives? This is where the advice needs to grow up. If you have kids, bills, family responsibilities, no safety net, and limited support, ambition is still allowed. But it needs a realistic strategy. Protect flexibility like it is money, because it is. Build visibility through value, not just physical presence. Make your work clear. Make your results visible. Build trust. Speak when it matters. Choose leverage over chaos. Do the things that actually move your life forward: skills, relationships, income, proof, and options. And stop apologizing for needing support. No one at the top is doing everything alone. They have teams, childcare, cleaners, assistants, managers, lawyers, accountants, and systems. So please, ordinary women do not need to feel guilty for needing help with dinner. That is where I land. Emma Grede is not wrong that women should stop being small. Kim Kardashian is not wrong that work matters. Sheryl Sandberg is not wrong that women should advocate for themselves. But the advice gets lazy when it forgets the woman who is ambitious and unsupported. The woman who cannot stay late, cannot pay for extra childcare, cannot take a financial risk with no cushion underneath her, cannot rearrange her whole family life just to prove she is serious. That woman does not need another slogan. She needs strategy. She needs flexibility. She needs options. And she needs powerful women to stop pretending success is only about wanting it badly enough. Because sometimes women do want it badly. They are just carrying more. Ambition is not the problem. Advice without context is. So yes, build. Ask for money. Take up space. Make your work visible. But build ambition around your actual life, not someone else's highlight reel. Because success advice from powerful women can be inspiring, but when it forgets childcare, bills, aging parents, no family support, and no safety net, it stops being empowerment. It becomes pressure. And that is bad advice. So now I want to know what you think. Have you ever heard success advice that sounded good at first, but completely fell apart in real life? Let me know in the comments. And as always, if you like sharp conversations with facts, nuance, and a tiny bit of side-eye, like this video, subscribe, and I will see you next week. That's it for today's episode of Smart AF. And remember, making informed decisions is your right. So before you believe the hype, get smart AF. See you soon. Thanks for listening. If you know someone who needs this info, please share this video with them. If you found this interesting, a thumbs up and subscribe would mean a lot. And tap the bell so you never miss an update.